Good morning. I'm Rosemary DeTrolio, and you're listening to The Lightwalker's Path. It's a place to develop new insights, find your soul's purpose, hear enlightening conversation, and be inspired. Good morning. This is Rosemary, and you're listening to The Lightwalker's Path Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. And this is a great place to grow your soul's purpose, to ask questions, to be inspired by conversation, and hopefully you'll glean some insights. Text in when the show is live. You can ask questions. You can find replays later on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and other streaming platforms. And I recently found out that if you have Amazon and you are a Prime member, you can also listen to the podcast through there if you subscribe. So that was exciting for me to find out. So I wanted to tell you that I have a wonderful guest coming in today. Her name is Gina Nelson, and I met her a few years ago in a business group that I have joined, and she's lovely. She's called the Secret Keeper Coach. She's been doing this for over 25 years, and her mission is to support adults and children burdened by secrets from either family line things or something else that has happened trauma-wise to them. She's a certified mind-body coach, energy healing therapist. She has a grace hunting and joy seeking course, and she herself is a trauma survivor and has worked a lot with PTSD. She's a member of the Oregon Abuse Advocates and Survival Services and RAIN, Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network of Speakers Bureau, and the National Sex Assault Hotline. She's a wonderful person, and she's also a very talented artist. And I've seen some of her pretty art, and it's very inspiring. So I would like to welcome Gina in so she can inspire us and guide you. And so, hey, Gina, how are you?
Great. Hi, Rosemary. Thank you
Good.
so
It's
much for having me.
it's so wonderful to see you again. I'm always so impressed by your gentle spirit and your giving nature, and I've always felt that from you, from even when I first met you. So I so appreciate that you're spending your early morning 7 a.m. in your time to be on the podcast today. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
It's wonderful to be here. I
yeah,
appreciate you having me on. And likewise, when I met you, I felt that we were kindred spirits. So this is great to have a
yeah.
long period of time to talk together.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I wanted to ask you first, what is your like favorite thing? So when you're feeling out of sorts, what's your one favorite thing that you love to do that kind of centers you and gets you back into yourself or your mission or your purpose? Is there one thing or two things you do when you feel stressed or that you can share with us?
Yeah, so I practice a few things. I have a toolkit that I use, and that is something that, to your point, I have to remember that I have it because, as
Mhm.
we all know, when we are stressed, sometimes our ability to remember what our tools are
Yeah,
disappears. And
yes.
so, one of the things I do is to just get really connected to my surroundings, um,
Hmm.
to practice gratitude and to try to be of service and so to
Beautiful.
someone else, and so those things
Yes.
really help.
I love that. I know when I'm out of sorts, the one thing that I always do is I always feel wonderful after I work with a client or when I offer something to somebody that I know, because for me, that puts me in a high vibration state. And the other thing I like to do is just remember to go outside and get out of my body and start walking. And when I'm in nature, that helps me a lot to feel like centered. So those are my things.
Mhm. Yeah, those
Yeah.
are really great, and I actually purposely tried to find an office where I could walk to it, for
Yeah.
that very point, is that I knew if I could walk a mile to work and a mile from work, that grounding was going to happen naturally. So I
Oh,
really appreciate you saying that about nature.
Oh, I love that. So how's the weather like? Do you get like a lot of cold weather in your area? You're in Oregon, aren't you? Oregon? Do you have
Yeah,
like
yeah.
cold winters and that very cold winters or
We don't have very cold winters, but we deal with a lot of rain. And so that is something that when people either move to Oregon, they always have to navigate how they're going to work with the seasons.
I
And even
gotcha.
energetically, yeah, how are
Yeah,
they going
yeah.
to take advantage of their natural rhythm based on
Mm.
what's happening with the weather, and because there's a lot of darkness, there's a lot
Oh,
of
that's hard. Yes.
yeah, yeah. But
Yes.
I grew up
Did
in
you grow up
Chicago,
in?
so I'm used.
Oh, I was gonna
No,
say
in
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Windy City, right?
the Windy City, and that is cold. That gets very, very cold.
Yeah,
Sorry about
it's
the
funny.
lag. I'm hearing the lag
No,
in the
it
feed, but
happens.
we'll just work with it.
There's a few second lag between the live broadcast and like I don't know if you can see the little picture at the bottom under us, but I see it.
Okay.
So there's like a
Oh,
3 second
good.
lag. And it's just kind of getting
Okay.
used to like not focusing on that 3 second lag and it's all good.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you're also an artist, and I know me too. I love to draw and paint and express myself through writing and through art as well. Have you used art as far as working with your clients, like almost like an art therapy kind of thing? Do you bring that into your sessions when you work with your clients? I was just curious about that.
Yeah, yeah, I love hearing that about you because uh, I think using our imagination, using our creativity is
Hmm.
such a gateway to getting the information that we may
Oh
not
yeah.
have
Yes.
feeling available to us, ready available to us.
Yes.
So I do use it with my clients, and whether that's writing or it is drawing, um,
Mm.
it's or movement,
Movement.
even just
Yes.
having the body get up and take some different shape or form than the normal pattern. So I look at that
Mm.
as all creative work. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so I do use it, but I don't want to say use it more subtly. It's just a natural part of the
Yes.
rhythm or the
What you love
practice.
to
And I
do.
yeah, and I also have a an art studio that I actually just moved in there about a month ago, where I have my healing practice and now a workshop space, which is also an art studio. And so I'm really, as well as the healing work, I'm trying to provide a space where people can be creative and carve out space, not necessarily to work on their
Mm-hmm.
um, things that are bothering them, but to experience that alignment that happens
Flow.
when we quiet our mind.
Yes.
So I'm really happy about providing that, because I don't know about you, but that was a lifesaver for me growing up,
Oh,
was having
love it.
places
Yes.
to
Yeah.
be creative. Yeah.
Yes. I find that whenever I'm out of sorts, I go back to like what I loved as a child. So I used to play piano. I loved drawing. I loved being in nature. I loved painting pictures and drawing pictures. And any of that really brings you back. And also, it opens up the flow of your intuitive pathways, which when you're in that creative flow, your intuition is wide open. And that's when a lot of times these
Mm.
thoughts will come in or inspirations because you're in that mindset and the different brainwave pattern. And I love that feeling of flow. Like you just know when you're in it, but you also know when you're not. It's
Yeah,
it's
it's true.
wonderful.
That is so true. And I think some people, um, if they may not have recognized or
Mhm.
named what it is, and I love the pointing out part of it, is
Yeah.
the awareness of how are you feeling now, or why is this helping, and
Yes.
so that they can begin to have a menu of the things,
Yes.
to your point
That
earlier,
helps.
what do I do when I'm not grounded, that may be on
Yeah.
the menu of things.
Yeah.
And luckily we
Yeah.
learn that as a child, but some people may not have the just the awareness that that's one of the very key
Yeah.
ingredients um,
Yes.
to alignment. Hmm.
I think when a lot of people are raised in a very like left brain situation without possibly
Mm,
being able to nurture through creativity, they don't know that these tools are even there for them. It's kind of like, oh, I could do that when I
mm.
got nothing else to do, nothing important to do. But to me, that's the important thing because when you access that, you access everything. And you're in
Agreed.
the flow and you're totally connected. I know when I was a kid too, like I just loved creating. And thank goodness, my parents like, sure, go do this, go do that. And it was like the last free generation, I'd climb a tree and sit there and get ideas or journal. But it was, thank goodness, I was able to do that because I found it also helps my clients when I'm working with them that I can guide them. Like some people love music too. Music is really a
Mm.
full opening too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's such a good point. And I would say, back to your original question, when I'm really struggling
Mm-hmm.
to to get back on my path as far as aligning with the energy that I want to access to do the things that I want to do in the world, um,
Hmm.
and to be in a more heart-centered space. I have some music that I'll put on, and it will instantly bring me to a different vibration.
I love
And
that.
so that's such a good point, because that is a key one. And then also I discovered dance later in life.
Oh, that's
And
right.
yeah, and so incorporating, so when I feel the music, my body can't help but move. And
Yes.
so being able to integrate left side of the body, right side of the body,
Love it. Love it.
it really just also makes that um, connection for me on all the bodies happen
Yes.
very
Yeah,
instantaneously. So
great.
music is such a good one. That was such a good point.
Love that. Yeah. And I know even like you were saying, connecting with the heart, a lot of times I'll teach my clients, like get out of here and into heart center. And then, I have exercises that I've taught my clients and my students to open heart center and then fill that into your whole energy field. And if people aren't used to doing it, they're up here rethinking. It's like I have to shift
Mm,
them from brain energy down to heartfelt energy. And if you're not used to doing that, like a lot of people that are really linear and left brain thought process people, they really need guidance because they've never learned how to like shift that in themselves.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
And I
it's
wonder,
neat to see.
yeah, I wonder when that happens. If you've noticed, and I've noticed, is the joy that happens for people when they feel that heart
Oh yeah,
energy and the
yeah.
permission to exist in that heart energy. Like, you're
That's right.
encouraging that. And sometimes I
Yeah.
think for a lot of us, we've been protected,
Oh yeah.
and so maybe we kind of touch the edges of it, or there's a
Yeah.
certain boundary to it. And so when you can be with someone in heart energy and encourage that flow and that just
Connection.
delighting in it, it's
Yeah.
such a wonderful thing to witness. I love that
Yeah. I love
so
the
very
feeling of
much.
it as well. And I think what sometimes happens too, it's hard being vulnerable. Like you do this with your clients all the
Hmm.
time. And it's scary for people to be vulnerable. And to be in heart center, you're vulnerable because you're opening your heart to that other person. And there's a chance that your feelings might get hurt or something will happen. But that vulnerability is actually our superpower. And people don't understand that
Mm.
once you can harness it, you're in your total authentic self. And I
Mm.
think it's something people come to at different points in their life.
Yeah, I love that. It makes me think of a time when I was, this was after my son was born. He was probably a few years old, and I was just in like a low energetic place, like low energy, low
Hmm.
mood. And I was doing trades with another energy healing practitioner, a somatic experiencing practitioner. And it was my turn to serve her.
Hmm.
And I remember texting her and saying, I don't know if I can be of service to you because
Hmm.
of where I'm at,
Where you were.
and where I was. And
Yeah.
she said, come. And we began to talk. And she really showed me how, let me experience what it was like to serve exactly from where I was. That although I couldn't feel the heart connection to myself,
Yes.
of
Yes.
course it's there. And
There.
then to your point, when you are helping others and you are connecting with the alignment of energy work and the vibration, of course it's all there. And that was
Yes.
such a great lesson, is to be in
Beautiful.
that, yeah, to
Yeah.
be in that space when I felt like I wasn't enough, for
Hmm.
her to say, you are, and
You're
let's see
there.
what happens if you do what you do, even when you feel like you're not enough.
Beautiful. So we're coming up on a sponsor break, but I want people to stay with us because we have more conversation and some wonderful things happening next. So please stay with us. We'll be back after a very short break. Thanks. Welcome back. My guest, Gina Nelson. And we were talking about different ways that we protect, ground ourselves and find our happiness and joy. And one of the things I want to ask you about is how your personal life story or your things you've through have inspired you to become the strong healer and guide that you have become in your life. How did you take those difficult lessons and transform them?
Hmm. Thank you. I love that you just used the word inspired. You
Mm,
said, how did I take my life experiences and how did that inspire me?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I love about you, Rosemary, right? And that we speak the same language, in that it is an inspiration, right? It really felt, and I think for those of us who have a longing to to be connected to our higher selves, to be of service, to fulfill our life purpose, to keep moving towards what it is we feel like we're called to do here,
Mm-hmm.
that it is inspired, it is in spirit, and that the life experiences as challenges, I all of them have felt like gateways, openings, opportunities to push through, again going back to the heart. What are the
Yes.
things that are keeping me from my sense of
Yeah.
wholeness, my sense of purpose, that's above and beyond this body or these thoughts, or
Yeah.
this emotion? And so so thank you for putting it that way. Yeah, so I, as an abuse survivor, as unfortunately so
Mm.
many of us in the world of so many ages, at a young age, I remember feeling that, because, and again, in those circumstances, so many times the person stays silent. The person
Oh,
goes into kind of having
yeah.
a
Good.
hidden life, a secret life,
Mm.
because there isn't a lot of understanding of how to navigate, um, or understand not only what's happening to them, but what is, how you reach out for help. And so,
Yes.
and there's so much shame, as you know, working with your clients, there's
Oh,
shame that as human
yeah.
beings we have from all sorts of things. And
Sure.
especially in this territory, it becomes something that keeps a lot of us kind of in a protected, hidden state because of the fear of being seen or
Sure.
judged.
We're judged. Sure.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I remember as a child thinking, I there has to be a better way. There has to
Mm-hmm.
be a better way for secret keepers to navigate and manage their secrets, so that
Yeah.
we don't feel so isolated. And just like you
Sure.
learn to brush your teeth and you're taught different methods to caring for oneself, why isn't there a way that navigating secrets is taught from an early age, so that when we have any experience, we already know what our choices are, what the effects of the secrets are, who our support system is, and that it is such a normal part of being human to have
Mm-hmm.
secrets.
Yes. I love that you have a unique way to help clients without having them feel ripped open or raw. And I
Mm.
know that when people have something that they're holding deep to their heart and they're afraid to share, it must be a very raw experience. And I also know that those people like you and others that go through these difficult things are really brave souls. And I know you came in here with a very strong mission to help people, and it's things that kind of was the fire behind where you are
Mm.
and how you can help, because you don't judge. You've been through things yourself, so you have that compassion response because you understand and you're not going to judge, and that makes it even more powerful for your clients to be able to come to you and say, listen, I have to share this with you. So
Mm.
I
I
love
really
I love
do.
that you have a way to go about it. What would be like one of the methods that, if someone is not ready to share a secret, what's one of the tips or methods you would use to kind of first bring them into, this is a safe place and this is how we can work with this issue of your secret? What's like the one
Mhm.
go-to when someone comes to you?
Yeah, I think the very first thing is to always keep in the forefront that they are 100% in charge of their own healing, that they are the wisdom keepers of their selves, and
Mm-hmm.
that the what they need is within themselves. And so I'm very much uh, offering a menu of ways to do that depending on where someone is in their healing journey. And so for me, the most important thing is for the person's nervous system to feel
Mm,
regulated throughout
mm-hmm.
our time together.
Right.
And our practice becomes, how do we approach any topic and learn how to cue in to when our nervous system or we begin to feel not integrated. And so,
Yeah.
to answer your question, there's a lot of education that comes in because when
Hmm.
we educate, we're using our mind
Yes.
and we're not asking our emotional body or our mental body, um, and really giving our physical body a little bit of a break and saying, you know what, let's just stay, bird's eye
Up there.
view on
Mm-hmm.
this and learn about the topic, not about you, not
Yes. Yes.
about your experience. Let's keep that very
Yeah.
well protected, and I'll even help you protect it. I will stand guard
Yeah. That's beautiful.
while we look at it, the tender edges,
Yeah.
or not even the tender edges of what is
Right.
a secret. What does that do to
Yeah.
a person? And so
Yes.
that is a way that we are not asking anything of the person. We're learning. And that's my point about not having opportunities. There's not a worksheet, there's not a class on how to
Mm-hmm.
navigate secrets. And so we start there.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned about, regulating the body because I know that people will automatically go in fight or flight when they've had a trauma response, or they go back to that subconscious programming that shuts them down and tries to protect them from what needs to be healed. And I think it's really interesting how you work with the mind first to give them, like, this is normal, this is what it is when you're under this situation, and then begin to work with the tools as they're ready to accept them or be ready to step in and be brave enough to take that first step. So I think that's a wonderful way to deal with it. And I know that you also deal with a lot of post-traumatic stress with different clients. Are most of your clients female, or do you have a mix of male and female? I was just
Hmm.
curious. Uh,
Yeah, they are mostly female. A lot of them are aware that they're on a spiritual journey,
mm,
or there's a longing, that there is a longing, that they know there is more
right.
than what is beyond their
Yeah.
emotions and their physical
Yeah.
body. And yet there's, and I think I felt this, part of my inspiration or my fire was I so desperately in this lifetime, and I
Yeah.
don't know if I should say desperately. I
Yeah.
had such a longing in this lifetime to
Hmm.
not be trapped in a lower vibration from experience or from my reactions to my experiences.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
doesn't mean that there hasn't been tremendous pain and
For
work and
sure.
journey work, and for all of
Yeah.
us life
Yeah.
is hard,
Yeah.
but there was always a longing. And so working with, a lot of times I work with people who have this sense of longing, that I know there's something beyond this pain and I'm
Hmm.
not accessing the fullness of myself,
Hmm.
and I feel trapped. And so
Yes.
there's that sense of feeling trapped, and how do we safely explore that feeling of being trapped in
Yeah.
so many ways.
I love that. I know I've worked with a lot of people and I've had friends that have been through very traumatic situations. And part of it is like, you see this beautiful light and around it you see all these walls.
Mm,
It's like, oh my gosh, if they only knew what was behind that wall, what an incredible spirit this is. And I think that's
mm,
the joy of working with a person and allowing them to begin to knock down those bricks, and you see that little bit of light come through. It's like, wow, that's amazing. Look at this, and it inspires me so much that someone can take a situation and transform it into something that's helpful
mm.
and healing for them, and that you've been able to help people do this. Is there any particular success story or client that you want to mention, not by name, but just by experience, of some transformation
Hmm.
have felt or a shift in them that you have seen?
Thank you. That's a great question. And I work with children as well, and I'm gonna pivot to this concept of education.
Mhm.
And I do a workshop called Heroes, Secrets, and Warriors. And it's about, and these were for anywhere from third to sixth graders.
Oh, my
And
favorite ages. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yes, I was looking at your middle young
Oh, great.
adult writing and
Yeah.
all of that. So
Yeah.
speaking to that and being with that age group is just so important. And I was doing a class, and it was just an after school class, and we talked about, being the hero of your life story. To your
That.
point that it takes courage,
Yes.
and we talked about the diamond core, that there's nothing that can happen to you that can affect the diamond core,
Love
the
that.
essence of who you
Ooh.
are.
Oh,
And
love
so
it.
this one girl went home and shared with her parents all these things she had been thinking about, and then came back and was revealed all this new identity of herself and felt very integrated. And so
Oh,
just seeing that doesn't take much sometimes.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's so cute. I was a teacher for 32 years. So I taught kindergarten, first and third, mostly third. And one year I was teaching first grade and I had a girl that was a selective mute. And the first like 2 weeks, she didn't talk at all. And we had to share like a little book talk. So I had her pretend she was an actress. And I said, it's not you, it's an actress you've seen on TV. I want you to go to the front and I want you to be an actress. And you're going to share about this book that you loved, but you're not you, you're the actress. She got in front of the whole class and she shared this book. And everybody's jaws were dropping because this kid hadn't talked in like a year and a half. And it was amazing to see the transformation. And I came across her 2 years later when she was a third or fourth grader, and she couldn't stop talking. It was like so beautiful. This little girl who wouldn't murmur a word when she was a little girl. But I
That's
love seeing that with
incredible.
kids. They're so
And
open and so
you unlocked this
wise.
whole future. You unlocked this
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
future for her, and
yeah.
you sped up her ability to be herself. That's just the
I
greatest
loved
of
it.
gifts.
It raised my heart, and just I love working with kids because they were so open to whatever you can share with them, and it's a wonderful thing. So we're coming up on another sponsor break, believe it or not. It's going so fast. We'll be back in 1 or 2 minutes. Stay with us, please. Welcome back. I'm Rosemary. This is the Lightwalker's Path, and my guest, Gina Nelson from Nurture 3 Healing. So, first thing, I wanted to mention her website so that you can write it down and have it in your back pocket so you can contact Gina. It's Nurture, Nurture, the number three, the word healing.com. And Gina, like I, also like to write. So I have three spiritual books on my website and on Amazon, and I have other books for young adults and for middle grade fiction and primary kids as well. That's listed on Amazon and also on my website, rosemaryd.com. And Gina likes to write too. So Gina, tell me about your books and how they can find them.
Yeah. So one of the children's books that I illustrated, a children's book about social emotional learning and how to navigate and recognize emotions. And
Okay.
so that one, we're actually in the process of republishing it. So that one
Okay.
will be back available in a couple months. But it's really how for kids to help them recognize what facial expressions look like.
I love
Um,
that.
and it's called a garbage can day, and it allows them to um, get rid of that feeling, understand what it feels like.
Oh,
Um,
that's
and
great.
then and then another part of my process, and I think, to your point, Rosemary, about loving writing, is it's such a powerful thing to connect with another person through their words.
Oh
So
yeah.
what you wrote, the books you write, and how people can connect in so many different ways, and one of them is through reading and feeling so connected to what you have to say, or what your message is, or what you're guiding them to
Hmm.
explore. And the fact that you do that with kids is brilliant.
Oh, I love it. I love
With
it.
young adults.
Yeah.
And then the other books that I've done, one is a anthology, and it's a Trauma to Triumph book. And a lot of you have heard about collaborative books where people write and go through a process of sharing a part of their
Hmm.
story. And I always recommend that because it's so powerful. And so I did that because I wanted to see, one of the things in my practice is I really am pointing out the differences. You can begin to heal before you reveal, right? We don't have to just
Oh
speak.
yes.
And
Yes.
so, and so I wanted to put that to the test for myself. And
Okay.
and so I had done a lot of healing before revealing, And then I had revealed to different people and therapists. But I wanted to see what it was like. How much do I have shame in there somewhere at work?
Yeah.
And so I chose to write really vulnerable, raw parts of my story. And the healing process of taking that to the next level was
Yeah.
profound. And so
Uh-huh.
that book is available, and it's called The Girl's Powerhouse. And then the other one is after that process, when I went through that oh no, I'm
Mm.
really going to put it out there. Um, being part of a collaboration of books with people who are experts on the field on or
Yeah.
have life experience in abuse, and it's called Rising After Abuse, and that one just came out last fall, and it's
Oh, okay.
tools and techniques for
Well, that's
people, and
wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's I know where I remember years ago when I published my very first book, the feeling of putting your baby and your heart to the world and just trusting that it's going to get to who it needs to, and then fighting the
Mm,
fear of like, oh my gosh, what would they think if they read this or whatever. You have to
yeah.
kind of get over the fear and that know that it's about the bigger message and not necessarily about their judgment of us. It's about their judgment of self and their own shame, that they're able to read your message and say, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it. And I think
Mm,
that gives people courage to just reveal who they are when they know that other people have the courage to do it. And I think that's the
mm.
power of writing and the power of self-expression that we bring. That's really good. I love it. I'm going to have to look up your books because I'm thrilled to see what you're writing too.
Thank you. Well, right back at you. And I'm curious
Yeah.
if when you write the young adult books, or I don't know what is the proper word for that
Well,
age group.
so I write for all different levels. So my
Yeah.
three Time Wheel books are for middle grade fiction, but it's all about a boy that lost his mom, excuse me, lost his father, and then he time travels through this prayer wheel he finds in the mother's store that she buys. And then it's
Mm,
about like adjusting karma and also his transformation of feeling very insecure and seeing the counselor after his father died into making new friends and dealing with bullies and then feeling good about himself as a person. So he's got like a transformational journey through my books. The first one won a literary award for chapter books for kids. And I targeted like 10 to 14-year-old, and the main character's male because there's not enough main male characters.
no,
And
I
I
have a
used,
son. I have a 16-year-old
yes,
son, and I can attest to that they
yeah,
need you to have examples of
yes,
putting
good
out there maybe
friendships.
things and things that they think about, right, that they don't feel comfortable bringing
Yes,
up. So this journey,
yes,
this longing, this pain. So
yeah,
bless you for doing that I'm excited to read
yeah.
them.
Yeah, and I'm working on a YA for adults, and it's called Child of Lights is the first one, and then Maiden of Lights is the second. And it's about a child born in a community where they call children that are premature or people that are ill, and they send them to the woods thinking that there's dragons going to eat them. But the leader knows there's no dragon, but he just like gets rid of
Mm,
anybody that is not serving the community. So it's all about the power
mm,
of your voice and expressing what you need and changing a system that's broken. So that's kind
mm.
of it. And I started writing it several years ago, and I'm in the process of like just going fine toothing it and deciding when I'm ready to bring it out. But
Oh,
that's actually going
exciting.
to be
Let it
for
me.
adults and young adults. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow, that's beautiful. And I don't know if you said this, but I heard this, but I don't know if you said this.
yeah, yeah.
You know that everybody has a purpose. And so like
Absolutely.
when you said that about, you know, them not
Yes,
feeling there was a place, and
yes,
that is such a powerful
yes,
reminder, could because that is
yes.
100% true about every human being. There is a special purpose
Yes,
for each
and I
one
have
of
the
us.
character being very obedient to her parents, afraid to kind of step into her power, and then she eventually does. And I guess they say every book you write has a little bit of yourself in it. So I was extremely shy as a child, and then finding my voice as an adult, is a lifelong. Like here I am. I can speak up. And the character is similar in the way that she finds there's a mission and therefore a reason to speak out, even though it terrified her.
Ooh. Oh my
So,
goodness, that courage coming
yeah,
from the mission. Well,
yeah.
I can relate. I didn't know we shared that. I was an incredibly shy person, and
Yes,
kept wanting to find ways. to get
Find
over the
your
hurdles
voice.
of being seen and use
Mhm.
my voice, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's a terrible feeling for those who want to
Oh
share a
yeah.
message or be part of something. Yeah, so
Yes.
wow, so that's amazing that here you are now, right, with
Stepping
this
in.
beautiful
Yes.
show, and yeah, and really being
Yeah.
seen.
Really being seen. And the I guess the point of it is too, like, I felt as a child I was an introvert, but I was a secret I want to be extrovert, you know? So it's like in the
Hmm.
background, I had a very outgoing father, extremely outgoing parents, and here I was, this quiet little youngest of the family. And then, kind of stepping into, I wanted to be a teacher, so I had to use my voice. I had to get over it. And then I just kind of like faked it till you make it, and then you're
Yeah.
there and you're like, wait a minute now, I really am confident, you know?
Yeah, that is, I think that's
Yeah,
the
so
truth, is there isn't like an ease. And maybe for some people it's easy, but for me it was getting on stage
oh
and knowing it
yeah,
was going to be really awkward, and I was going to be out of my body, and I was going to be confused, and
yes,
and then doing it enough times that now
I
I'm
love it.
present, but
I'm such a ham,
whoo,
honestly. I love it now, Gina. And when I was a kid, it would terrify me to get in front of a group. And now it's like, yeah, I'll talk in front of 100 people. I don't care. 1,000, I don't care. Just put me in front. And it doesn't, I love doing it. It just feeds me. And it's almost like you kind of feel like a rock star. It's like, oh my God, this is such an incredible feeling, you know? Just
yeah,
to know
and
you're making a difference.
yeah, and that you had to work so hard to get there, and I think that's such an important thing for people to know, like whether it's just a natural thing or you
Yes.
have to work hard to get there, you can get there.
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
it is worth everything to share your truth. It is worth everything. And
Yeah.
you had that knowing, right? That you're
Yeah.
like, what I
Really.
have to do here is bigger than my
I
insecurity.
knew. I
But
knew.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I knew from
beautiful.
probably from the age of 4. I knew. I used to, I was one of these kids where I'd hide in the bathroom at school and I would talk to people as if I was teaching them. And I knew this like really, really young. I also knew I was here before. So I had a lot
Hmm.
of like weird little things happening in my brain when I was a kid. So I kind of knew there was a mission, and I always had this thread of like people would sit down and tell me their life story, even really young.
Mm,
Be a kid, they'd
mm.
sit down and tell me their secrets. Like this happened my entire life. And finally I'm like, okay, fine. I can do this. I can work with this.
Yes,
So, yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. So who is your like mentor or a person that
Mm.
really helped you to shift yourself? Or did you have several? I'm imagining you probably have a team of people that were guiding you along the way.
Yeah, I would say I one of the greatest moments I had is I attended a mystery school. It's called the Nine Gates Mystery School, and
Oh, yes, yes.
I was probably, I'm trying to even remember how old I was at that point. I mean, maybe 29. I don't know.
Hmm.
And and there's teachers from all different spiritual traditions that come in for these very long
Uh-huh.
retreats, and they talk about different chakras and removing
Yes,
blocks, and it's very
yes.
experiential and very intense. And one of the teachers was this beautiful woman, Sabanfu Some from West Africa, who had moved to the States, and she was working on the solar plexus.
Mm.
And so she came in, and the reason I'm sharing this part is she had been told as a child, and in their village, every time someone was born, there was a purpose for that child.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knew it, and they shared the purpose with that child.
Oh,
And
I
her
love.
purpose was to be the keeper of ritual. And
Oh,
so that really connected me to that concept of that I could own what I was the keeper of, that I could own
yes,
that it wasn't made
yes.
up, you know?
Right.
And so it was just a deep longing. And then what about her, she could carry the greatest joy you've ever seen and the
Beautiful.
deepest grief. And her main focus was grief healing
Yeah,
and bringing
yes,
bringing those rituals and ceremonies to the West. So she moved here. But seeing a
yeah.
human being that could hold both without being controlled by it, and was
That's a
just, yeah, so that was a great
yeah.
mentor.
The
And I think,
chalice, the chalice. Love that.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we're coming up on our last sponsor break. We'll be right back. Stay with me and my guest, Gina Nelson. Thank you. Welcome back to the Lightwalker's Path. Grow your spirit with Rosemary and my friend Gina Nelson, who is a wonderful counselor, guide, and secret keeper and secret helper for those clients that she is lucky enough or they've lucky enough to work with her. And we were talking about, being a challenge for this energy, both positive and negative. And it just brought to light like the feeling of compassion, how that is a thread through all of the world religions. If you go through a lot of the things in the world, there's this thread of compassionate heart and helping each
Mm.
other. And I think that's the beautiful joining, that it doesn't matter what the background of your faith is, but you're connecting with this universal heart energy with each other. And I think that's how we're going to change, I guess, change humanity and change the fabric of what we're going through in our country and in the world right now. It's just understanding each other. So I
Yeah,
want to
that's
ask you,
beautiful. That's
yeah.
beautiful. I think you just nailed it. I mean, because it's so hard we can forget, right? We can forget to go to our
Mhm,
heart center, um,
mhm.
and to be in that vibration where all the answers are and all the wisdom is and all the connection is. And that's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
I think one of the things that I know can change, like I always say, there's people that obsess over everything happening here and there in the world, but we all have our circle of energy, and I think if each person raises their vibration,
Mm.
it affects change on each other, just like that rock in the pond. It's it'll change the pattern of the collective. So I think as healers, that's our mission, and that's my mission, is to change the vibration and collective so that we can all help each other and then raise vibration, through in a group, in a big old group.
But
That's what I want to do.
yeah, no, and it's
Yeah.
true because it's so, and even just yesterday, I mean, I love being very real about, I may have days where I feel very aligned and I feel very connected, and I have days where I struggle and
We
I
all do.
don't feel
Yes.
connected, right? And
Yeah.
so to have somebody point out, right, if I can't do it for myself, right, to be surrounded by or connected to people who have that message of,
Hmm.
can you think about gratitude right now? Can you think
Hmm.
about
Something.
compassion? Can you have self compassion?
Hmm.
Those are the messages that bring me back when I can't bring myself back as quickly as I'd like. And so here you are, right, doing this and doing that. And even just yesterday, I was struggling with something and I wasn't having compassion and I was confused. And my husband said, "What if you just had compassion for yourself and the other
Yeah.
person in this situation?" And
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're right." But it was
Yes.
true. And then the energy of it was gone. And so again,
Yeah.
having those people like you,
I love that. Yeah,
yeah.
I know. It's funny when I channel, I channel angels, and I've been
Yes.
doing that since '93. And one of the things, when you're in a mood and you want to channel, the angels would always say, "Have you sent love? Have you prayed for that person?" And you're like, "I just want you to tell me I'm right." Like, no. Have you prayed for that soul? Have you seen it from their point of view? And it brings me
Mm,
back to, again, we're all here on a mission, and you don't know someone's life or someone's deepest heart, so you have to have compassion for what they're going through. And it's a
mm,
it's a constant learning when situations come up, that you have opportunities to practice what you preach, so to speak. That's your opportunity. You're angry right now, but you have to step back and remember what you stand for, what you do. And
it's a
yeah,
daily practice,
constant.
it's a
Yes.
moment to moment practice. And
Yes.
that's part of being human. And I love to be real about that. Um, yeah, it is. And there is no other way I want to live. But I mean,
No.
it's not a question. It's, yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes. 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 Beautiful. So you have a son. How old is your son?
oh, he's 16. He has got 2 days left of school before he is going to be a
Oh,
senior,
beautiful.
and they are very excited about that transition and every just being around him and his friends, that blossoming that happens
Oh,
right
it's so
between junior and senior year
exciting. Oh, yes. What does he want to
is.
do? Does he have like does he know what he wants to do, like ahead of himself or in college, or
Hmm.
maybe he doesn't want to go to college? I don't know. But does he know
Hmm.
his next steps after he leaves high school? I'm just
He is
curious. As
yeah,
a,
no, it's a good question. He's always been a very logical person. And like many in his generation, he doesn't feel obligated to go with the structure that
Yeah,
we may growing up have thought we had
fine.
to follow. I really
Yes.
appreciate that about him. It's challenging, right?
Yeah.
These children are in a different place of their
They
understanding of
are.
what choices they have, and do we like the constructs of how the world is designed. And
I think that's
um,
good, though. I think that's good. I think it's meant to
I,
be.
I agree. And so, anyways, to answer your question, he is looking at either going to college and trying to become a physical therapist because that has helped him in his
Okay,
life,
good, good.
um, or a trade school.
Mhm.
Um, but we went and visited a college recently, and it was delightful for me again to witness. And it's such a privilege, right, to take those years and be
Yes,
and
yes.
become an adult, but also have a net.
Oh,
So I don't know
yeah.
what he'll choose, but that was kind of fun to see that he is beginning to see that there's things he's interested in, and then there's options, and
Yeah,
he's
I love
changeable,
that. Yeah,
you
and they will. I mean, my son's an artist. My son went to School of Visual Arts in New York, and he originally wanted to do like animation stuff, and now he does like the 2D animations for court systems. And he's very talented. And my two
Oh.
grandsons are artists. They're very talented. They're, 5 and 7. But they're quite talented as well, and it's beautiful to see the blossoming from him and to his kids as well. So
Mm.
we're coming up on the last like minute of the show, so I'm gonna have to close out in about a minute. So I'm gonna ask you any last word of advice from you, Gina.
My last words of advice. This is a good question. I say that when we feel stuck, that we
Mm-hmm.
have every right to find whatever the way that is to get to movement
Love
towards
that.
whatever it is that we want. And so look at it as a continuum, look at it as a
Yeah.
bridge, find
Yes.
whatever that little step is. Don't look at the end, but you have
Yes.
every right to be in and to be in movement and find flow and find help and in lots and lots of different ways. So that is my
Love that.
advice.
Love that. So this has been the Lightwalker's Path. I so appreciate that you were here today. And I hope people look you up at nurture3healing.com. And if you'd like to learn more about what I do and you're listening today, you can go to rosemaryd.com and learn about workshops, sessions, books, courses, self study courses, and one to one sessions with me. But I do hope you look up Gina. She's phenomenal. And I so appreciate you and the light you bring to the world. And thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you, Rosemary. I really appreciate it.
Have a beautiful day.
Me too.
I'm your host, Rosemary DiTrolio, and you've been watching and listening to The Lightwalker's Path. Learn about my workshops, sessions, courses, and more at info@rosemaryd.com. My website, rosemaryd.com, Hands of Light by Rosemary. Have a blessed and beautiful day.